What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Karla.
And I'm Amanda. We are two sisters, two moms tackling one book at a time. So, um, yeah, that was a lot in those 4 chapters. Yeah, Carla?
I'm so
I mean,
excited to be back.
yeah, we left off with her bonding 2 dragons. And now, what was your, because I know it was a lot and I know you just read it. So,
I did. For everyone listening, I waited till right before this podcast to read all 4 chapters. So I am like ready to go. I called Amanda and I was like, we gotta go do it right now. We have to. Like I have so much I want to talk about. It's crazy. So it was wild. It was absolutely wild. I felt like this was the first time so far in the book. Not that I couldn't put it down, because there's been plenty of times in the previous chapters that I was like, oh, I can't put it down. But this was like the first time that I was like, anticipation at each turn of the page, like constant anticipation, and so much going on. And I have a whole nother outlook on different characters. And Xaden this is like the first time I'm like, damn man, you are attractive. Like there's so many things that are coming into my mind and into play that I'm excited we're back and we're gonna talk about it.
yeah.
So this is the first time that I've read it where I actually took like notes per chapter. Because I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this good, because I feel like there was a lot going on. So would you like me to read to you what I wrote in my notes?
Yeah. Are these like notes or more pins?
There might be some pins in there. There could
I
be.
love pins. All right, let's do this.
I will say though, I do know that we did get one of our pins answered in one of the chapters I read, which I'll talk about after. And I was wrong on my pin, but that's okay. We can talk about that after.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. I
Okay, so chapter 17, because that's where we left off at. This is what I wrote. We learn riders who are bonded are afraid of Violet and don't want to piss her off because she's bonded with Taryn. Imogen and Xaden's lower ranks, but higher than Violet, came to sit with her at breakfast. Imogen says that she will be training Violet. We believe it's because Xaden wants her to and that she's being ordered to, which turns out to be the case. Rhiannon sleeps with Sawyer. Get it, girl? And we see a lot of people sleeping together in celebration. I was like, is this how we celebrate now? Like, is this the new celebration? Is you just find somebody and you just sleep with them? Because I was like, okay.
Yeah, because they're not promised tomorrow.
You know what? I didn't think about that. I like that. We learned that there's 41 unbonded riders. So there's 41 people that didn't actually get to bond with a dragon. So 41 is that number that we know. 41 people who are probably going to be coming after Violet. That's kind of how I read it. Yeah, they pose the biggest threat, the people who are bonded, again, being Violet. Dain apologizes to Violet for kissing her, and Violet feels like a little bit of this relief, thinking he understood and, felt the same way as her, that there was just no chemistry when they kissed, but that they could remain friends. But turns out that was not what was in his mind. He was strictly doing it for politics. He's like, I can't date you because I'm a squad leader, and next year he wants to be a wing leader. But next year, if she's in a different wing, or maybe even after graduation, then they can date then. And it makes Violet lose a little respect for him. And to be honest, me as the reader, I lost a little respect for Dain there too. I was like,
Now you lost respect for that Joker.
I've been losing respect for Dain, but I feel like I've just been losing more and more respect. But this to me did it. I was like, dude, I'm sorry, if you were some guy that I was interested in, I think I'd be like, bye, I'm done. Not doing this anymore.
It gets better.
Oh gosh, I don't even know if I can handle better, can I? Just kidding. So we see Imogen brings Violet into a small training room, something that she's never noticed before. I guess this door has been there, but she never noticed it. We see Garrick in there. He's training somebody else. And then that's when Imogen starts training Violet on her thighs, because her foot is injured and her arms are injured. but she needs to work on her inner thighs to stay on a dragon, since during flight training the day before, or maybe earlier that day, she kept falling off and insisting that Terran stop using his magic to hold her on, because his magic is going to drain if he continues to help her. And then, yeah, we do see that Imogen may have some type of sexual relationship chemistry with Xaden, which definitely gets Violet jealous. Got me a little jealous as a reader. I was like, no, I don't think so.
No.
And then one of the other key factors and takeaways from this is that we learn out of one of those 41 unbonded riders is Oren, who is one of Jack Barlow's friends, who is with Jack Barlow and the other guy, can't remember his name at the moment, who went after Violet and went after Andarna, which is the golden dragon. So yeah, he's probably pretty pissed off, which we do know that he is pretty pissed off. So yeah, we do find out that Oren takes over the kitchen duties that Violet has. So yeah, that was like my key takeaway, or I guess the things that I learned in chapter 17. And yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot to process. I wasn't expecting that much in chapter 17, but I really enjoyed it. I think we're going to, well, let me rephrase that. I think we're going to start to see a whole shift of characters. Ones we thought were villains turn into non-villains, ones that are friends become not friends. And can we just please talk about Dain? I mean, what is his deal?
I don't know. He just likes to be very proper, I guess.
All right, well, let's go back then. Starting from the first part of the chapter, we see that Violet comes in. She is, walking in. She's just going to sit down, and all these people are like, "Oh, let me move for you, Violet. Like, go ahead. I'll sit over here." And they leave and they move. And Violet's like, "What's going on?" Right? And then we
Yeah.
see Imogen and, was it Quinn, I think, that comes over, and they sit with her. And then we start seeing all these other, higher up people coming over and sitting with Violet. And the first thing that came to my mind is like, they are showing all the other people around, like, we are not the people to mess with. We are with Violet. You cannot screw with us, because if you're with Violet, you're with Terran. And
Oh
Terran is
yeah.
the one to be fearful of, right? I mean, is that kind of what you got out of that?
Um, Kinda. Well, I got like people were scared of her and they started to respect her and stuff. But I think that Imogen and Quinn are trying to help her because she's tethered to Xaden.
Yeah. We
So
also
they're like,
see,
you can't do nothing.
right. Well, and then we see Jack Barlow get kicked off of his table. So
Have the mighty have fallen. I
I
know.
know he gets kicked off
He
his table,
deserves it.
and he can't even find a replacement table because nobody will scoot over for him. So he ends up sitting somewhere else, which I think that's kind of what they say in the book, is how the mighty have fallen. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
it's
really funny though.
funny.
But yeah, that was an interesting little maneuver. And Violet's like, I have no idea what's going on. But to be honest, I knew exactly what was going on. As I was reading it, I was like, oh, they are fearful of her. They're 100%
Oh,
fearful
I
for her.
bet.
So how
All
is
the
that she got
dragons
through
are like,
this?
don't mess with her, because then he'll kill us all. Their dragons could all talk to each other, you know?
No, it was definitely crazy. I was very worried for Violet when she was doing the flight training with Taryn, because I was like, girl, you can't keep falling. And my thought was, do you think other riders are seeing this and being like, dang, how is it that her dragon is helping her when we have this other girl who fell, was it one of the girls that fell off her dragon during flight training, and her dragon's like, bye, like, not coming for
Let's
you.
talk about Glenn. That dragon Glenn, it's like Gleann, that dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, have you not noticed that poor dragon? He lost he lost his rider at threshing. He lost his rider again, like when they were doing the maneuvers, like flew, I guess, into the ice thingy. And then didn't he just get a new one and he just lost it?
I don't know. I
Um,
know he got a new one.
Because Taryn was
One of
saying like he's bad at picking riders anyways. So it's like
yeah,
three times.
it was one of Jack Barlow. Someone Jack Barlow knew, I
Yeah,
guess,
because
because they
he's
were
all
like,
like, this, I knew it would work. And it's, man, what's he up to now? So
they did say that this dragon has clearly can't pick the right rider.
I was
Um,
like, you poor thing. Oh,
which was,
oh
is
yeah,
this
because
the
that goes
dragon that was
into
wait, was this
bonded
the
with
dragon bonded with
Amber.
Trina?
No, yeah, Trina.
Trina, and then Trina fell off during threshing when they were flying. Oh, that's the same dragon.
Yeah,
Okay.
Glenn. And then they're like, wow, they bonded fast. And he's like, yeah, Glenn's the one who, like, their rider fell off. Cause they're like, isn't he bonded? And they're like, no, his rider flew off. And then she bonded, I guess, him. And then she flies into a glacier. Not funny. And then that one girl, our boy, whoever, somebody does something because of Jack Barlow.
Mm-hmm.
That poor little dragon.
Yeah. No, that was definitely strange. And I felt the same way where I was like, yeah, Violet's going to have to work on her strength because, I mean, it does seem a little, I don't want to use the word unfair, but I guess unfair in a way to other riders who may be like, why is her dragon helping her out so much? Like, her dragon is not only lowering his leg so Violet can slide down his leg versus having to hop off. Not only is he holding her and strapping her in, but like he's saving her. Like she's what they. I mean, I doubt it was really thousands of times, but they say, oh, she's fallen thousands of times, and the dragon kept saving her. And other dragons are probably like, no, you fall, you fall. Like, I'm not coming
Oh,
after you.
yeah.
So
The dragon's like, don't
yeah,
embarrass me.
yeah. But I
But
do
she's getting
see,
better. And then
yeah.
you see from that situation, it just kept moving from there.
Mm-hmm. Well, we find that Dain, again, going back to this whole, I don't know if he was just, you know what it felt like to me? It felt like you were going to break up with someone, right? Like you're the person, you're like, I'm going to come break up with you, and they beat you to it. Like they're like, okay, I know things were awkward. I think it's time we break up. And you're like, good. I think that is for the best. I think it's best that we don't be together anymore. And then the person's like, yeah, because, I'm just too good for you. And, all these things. And the person that originally was going to do the breakup is like, what? Like, that's kind of the gist I got out of it. I don't know. There was something weird
Oh.
about that.
He follows the rules and he can't be seen with the 1 year because he's a second year and he wants to become wing leader.
Oh, yeah. We
So
know Dain follows the rules.
yeah. So that was that whole thing.
Yeah.
But
So
then the
that was a
next
little.
chapter gets super exciting because
Mhm.
you got some
So,
crazy action.
yeah. You want to hear my notes for this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, chapter 18. Violet goes for a blast from the past with her new job as she brings back books to the library in the scribe's archives. She runs into a friend she recognizes as Jasenia, who
Yeah.
works in archives. And Violet and her talk, Violet asked about a book she wanted to find, which brought me back to like chapter 1 when she wanted to bring this book with her. And Mira's like, no, you can't bring that. Um, so it's a book that her dad had given her, or at least had, read with her, called The Fables of Baron. Jasenia isn't able to find it, and Violet knows that the library carries copies and originals of almost every book except ultra rare and forbidden tomes. So she's confused why this book wasn't there. Violet continues flight training practice with Taryn, and she comes across Dain as she's finishing. Clearly, Dain is pretty pissed off. He's mad that she didn't tell him that she's been falling a lot, and Violet tells him, what's been bottling up inside her, and she continues to not. That's why he continues to not believe in her. So before I wanted to read something that I was very proud of Violet for. Let me pull it up here. It was page 221 in my book. So Violet says to him, this place cuts away the bullshit and the niceties reveals whoever you are at your core. I repeat his words from this summer. Isn't that what you said to me? Is this who you really are at your core? Someone so enamored with rules that he doesn't know when to bend or break them for someone he cares about? Someone too focused on the least I'm capable of doing and can't believe I can do so much more. She continues to say, let's get one thing straight, Dain. I take a step closer, but the distance between us only widens. The reason we'll never be anything more than friends isn't because of your rules. It's because you have no faith in me. Even now, when I've survived against all odds and bonded not just one dragon, but two, you still think I won't make it. So forgive me, but you're about to be some of the bullshit that is this place cuts away from me. I was like, get it, girl. You've been saying what we have all been thinking as reading this book. Like, she finally is able to get out what I think has been bothering her. It's all been building
Yeah.
up, and then she just explodes on him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was really proud of her for that because we've all been thinking it. We're all sick of it, you know? What did you think?
Yeah. Yeah. The same.
It's
Yep.
just crazy. Um, Anyways, so we see Violet and the other cadets walking in the courtyard when someone starts yelling. So Jeremiah, whose signet started to manifest, starts pointing at people and reading their thoughts and getting crazy. Xaden tells Violet to start thinking about bookish shit. She's learned to protect her thoughts. Then a professor comes over and analyzes Jeremiah and snaps his neck. So we learn that that's Professor Carr.
Yeah.
Um,
You also learn that reading people's minds is illegal.
yeah, why
So
is that? Like, what? Why is?
they do mention it later on, but it's not like a spoiler thing, but it's just like they don't want somebody to know what's happening. Like, because there's like classified stuff and all that other stuff.
But it's not like he picked his signet, right? So he's punished for something that he was given that he doesn't even have a choice of.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
kind of a
to
bummer.
me, I look at it as it is because the signet comes from you too. So maybe the people who could read minds are like nosy bodies, are busybodies, always listening in. And I don't know. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting though. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
if they don't like what you have, they're just gonna kill you. Even though the place is like he's bonded and he did all that and the cadets are short. So
Well, so he was basically reading minds of people. He couldn't control it. It seemed like it was very
he could
overwhelming for
just hear
him.
their thoughts. Yeah.
And
So
so he's
loud
like
too.
pointing at Dain and like saying, like, talking about Violet in his mind. And, but then what's interesting is Xaden is like, telling Violet, like, just start reciting like the book
Because she
stuff you
has
learned.
secrets. She has secrets in her
Yeah.
head of him meeting up with everybody and then with her trying to leave the
Yeah. He
writer's
doesn't want
quadrant.
him to find out. So she's just like, okay. So she's just reciting some random stuff, which I thought was actually pretty smart. And again, another protective layer to Xaden with Violet. Although this guy, I feel like he tries to hide under some of that thick skin, but I feel like there's a little bit, little coziness to Xaden. Um, but yeah, so then we have, let's see on my notes, I put Violet is awoken by well, essentially by Taryn, because she's having this dream with her dad and, revisiting how she wanted to, she was telling him that she wanted to be a writer and what her dad's like, no, like, you can't be, we don't always, get what we want out of that. You're meant to be a scribe. And then we hear Taryn waking her up, and there is 7 cadets in her room, which is where it started to get crazy for me. I was like, what? And yeah, they were there to take her out.
Because they want her dragon. So we see
Yeah.
that. We see somebody run away from the whole situation. So she knows there's somebody else out there. And then we see Oren, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Oren.
Oren, like basically has her back against his chest and she's probably trying to choke her out. And then we see Andarna's power. She's able to freeze time, which was kind of cool to be able to
Mhm.
see. And then all of a sudden, Xaden comes in to save the day. And he like instantly kills everybody. And then I think he's mad at which I would be mad too. He takes Violet to Taryn to be able to talk, and they go through the whole secret hallway and everything. She's like, "When has this been here and stuff?" And then you see Xaden yelling at um Taryn, and then we hear Sigel's voice for the first time. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you
that was
got
the
a pin
whole.
discovered.
I did get a pin discovered. All right. So I guess we can take this pin out and put it in the trash because it was not what we thought. We find out that Andarna is not the child to Sigel and
Yeah,
Taryn.
no, she's a
So,
little 2-year-old though.
but I feel like they kind of took her in as almost like their own child. Like, even though maybe
Oh
she
yeah,
wasn't birthed from them, but like, yeah, they said her parents had died before she was hatched.
yeah,
But we don't
and
know
now
who the
she's
parents
2.
are.
Not yet,
Yeah,
but
not yet.
so
Not yet.
that was, and we find out because she's a feather tail, she's a hatchling, so that's how she got her power to give to Violet. And it's funny because I think in my mind, she held it for 30 seconds because Xaden's like, if I was 30 seconds slower, she would have been dead. And then Taryn's like, well, you've been gifted 30 seconds and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, they all like ambushed her while she was sleeping, which is a no-no.
Yeah, because
They
that's
have a
what breaking the
codex.
codex. Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
allowed to attack a cadet while they're sleeping. And
I like how Orin was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, don't do anything. And Zayden's like, you really think surrendering is going to save your life right now? So
yeah.
he likes the
No, that
codex too.
that was, and when they were attacking her, um and Taryn is talking to Violet, and he's just like, you know, you do this, do that, like, steer clear of like the corners and the walls so you don't get trapped in. And she's clearly struggling and having a hard time. All you hear him go like, he's almost there, and I'm like, oh, is that Xaden? Is Xaden coming? Because I was like, Xaden is probably being told by, my guess is Sigel, because Taryn's probably telling
Well, he could
Sigel.
hear her. He could hear him because they're bonded.
True, yes, but we didn't know this at this point, right?
We knew they were bonded.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. We didn't know that Xaden was able to hear Taryn, just like Violet's able to hear Sigel, because Sigel and Taryn are bonded, right?
I mean, I guess. I know some people figured it out before. You could
Yeah,
hear the bonded. So,
yeah. But that was exciting. And so I'm like waiting for Xaden to come in. And then the only thing you see right before the chapter, or I guess read before the chapter ends, is that the door swings open and all of a sudden everybody freezes, like is frozen. And Violet's able to
but
like
that was,
maneuver
yeah, that was
herself.
before Zayden got there. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
she froze
Yeah. She was
time.
been able to maneuver herself out of Oren's, I guess, grip and make her way towards the door,
Her
which is
death
exactly
grip.
what you said. Uh, we find out, yeah, and Durna helps stop time, or gives Violet the opportunity to stop time, and gives them enough time for Xaden to get there and basically save the day. And I was like, we have hero Xaden coming out now to take on all these people that were going after Violet, which was hot.
Um, and then we have Zayden for the last chapter is the only one who believes Violet too. Because did you see how mad Dain got at her? Were you
Yeah.
expecting that whole last scene to happen of like everybody meeting?
Well, okay, so at first I didn't know, like when Violet was like, "Oh, a girl let them in," right? In that one chapter, I was thinking, "Oh, just some random girl, like that's non-important or
I
whatever."
think
For some reason,
everybody
just
thought it
didn't
was
like
some
Violet.
random girl.
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, they didn't tell us who it was, so I'm thinking, oh, it's probably just some person in her squad that just doesn't care for her or whatever. Um, but then you hear Violet say like, no, no, Zayden's not going to believe me if I tell him. Like, no one's going to believe me if I tell him. And I'm like, okay, so this someone is clearly someone. And I really like how they did this, because we as the readers didn't even find out who it was until we get to chapter 20 when we find out who it is. But I will say my first initial thought was I thought it was going to be Imogen. I don't know why.
Oh,
I think in my mind I was thinking it was her, because I was going back to like the what if Xaden has like this romantic connection with Imogen, and Imogen gets jealous and wants to take Violet out, because now Violet has this connection to Xaden because of their bonded dragons. Um, so that was my first initial thought. And
poor
then
Imogen. She never
I
had a
know.
chance with you.
And then when we get to chapter 20, when they're talking about what is it, like the part before the chapter where they talk about how if a wing leader does something that breaks the codex, then it's death for them, but if you're somebody who accuses them of something and it ends up not being true, then you're dead. I was like, okay, so this to me tells me that whoever let the cadets in to, or the unbonded cadets in to find Violet, that tells me it has to be a wing leader. So I'm like breaking it down in my head. I'm like, okay, a wing leader, a female wing leader. And so instantly I thought of Amber Melvis,
Oh,
I think is her last name. Amber Melvis.
you
Mm-hmm.
you just thought of that. You're like, oh, it's her. Okay.
Yeah, as I started chapter 20, I was like, it has to be Amber, because I thought at first I was like, well, she's not a rule breaker though. But I couldn't think of anyone else who might fit that description of who I thought it might be, being a female, being a wing leader, somebody that we would know, right? And I knew that she was pretty pissed off at Violet when she said, "You cheated, you broke the rules or whatever." And Xaden's like, "No, she didn't." So I thought, okay, this is an opportunity now for Amber to be like, well, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. If I have to break the rules to stop another rule breaker, I'll do it. And then Dain was all pissed off. I was like, Dain, how can you not? Again, another strike to Dain. You don't even believe her? She says she was there that night. The only
And then
witness
he
you have
wanted
of
to
this
jack
is
her
Violet.
memories. Yeah, he was going to jack her
Yeah.
memories.
Which, remember last episode, we were like, what is Dain's signet? It's the memory reading. He can read their memories. It did come to me
Yeah.
as I was reading it. I was like, oh, that's right. But yeah, I just feel like the more we see Dain doing something, the more we see Violet just pulling back further. Like, nope, you are not the person I thought you were. It's just like how she said in the chapter that I read, like, I'm starting to see who you really are, basically, and you're not the person that I thought you were. He has no faith, and we've just seen this build up chapter after chapter.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see Xaden totally believed Violet. He was like, I believe her. I don't even think he obviously didn't see it, but he had total faith in her. Dain is like, you have to stop this. You can't do
But
this to
then
her.
the dragons were the key point
Yeah.
giveaway too, because he showed
Yeah, no, they
everybody. So
were.
I think Xaden already knew who it was anyways.
I think Dain so for me, I think Dain believed Violet, but he didn't want to admit that. And I think Xaden automatically was like, yeah, no, I believe you. Um so it sets us up very interesting. And we see Violet's attraction for Xaden just like increasing more and more and more and more. And I'm
I
like,
know.
oh yeah. I don't know.
It's just
I have
funny.
this whole picture of him in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I get it, girl. I'd feel the same way. But yeah, I don't know. Those
Really?
were some mind blowing chapters for me. I was like, what's going to happen next? I almost, well, we do see also really quickly, because we do see that Amber gets taken out, but we see Violet again having some more sympathy for her,
Mm-hmm.
but it's only for her because of her dragon. What's her dragon's name? It
Caw,
is,
caw,
yeah, like, yeah, that.
caw,
So we do,
caw.
yeah, and we see that Taryn is like, last time I listened to you and I didn't take someone out that I should have. We see it
They
backfire
tried to
because he
kill
came and
you.
tried to, yeah, he
Yeah.
tried to kill you last night. So I'm not making
Yeah.
this mistake again. And he wipes out Amber.
I know that poor dragon was so sad too. It's like,
Because she's
oh,
a third year, right? Because she's a wing leader, right?
I think she's a third or second, probably third year, because third years
Yeah.
are wing
So
leaders. So
her
that's
and her
2 years
dragon have
they've
had
been
this,
bonded.
yeah, they've had this connection for so long. And the dragon was clearly devastated. But
Do you want me to
don't you
get
think
you a
because,
tissue?
yeah, I know, right? Please.
Do you need a tissue?
I do. I do think though, like, don't you think that because the dragons can read the thoughts of their rider, that her dragon knew she did it and probably knew
Oh
what was
yeah.
coming?
Yeah, that's why they all probably backed away from that dragon. Like she's like, yeah, it was. But I think they saw Taryn's mind too, because she's like, can't you see my memories? And he's like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. I do think, because we also see Xaden, at least through these couple chapters, like really rejecting Violet, like, oh, I don't sleep with first years. And, when I was a first year, I didn't even sleep with first years. I was like, oh, okay, hold on a second here. I was like, need to cool down for a minute.
Put the book down, go take a shower.
I know, like, what is happening? I don't know, but my question for you is when did you start finding Xaden as less of an enemy and more of an attractive male?
Well, like I said before, the thing got ruined for me. So I saw pictures and like little memes way before I even started reading the book. So I was already in love with the guy.
Yeah.
Rather he not have been a good guy and he was strictly the enemy, like after Violet, I'd be like, I'm your number one fan still.
Yeah, he's definitely like one of those like you look at him and you're just like he's like frightening but like very frighteningly attractive.
Oh, you know what? I get what you're trying to say now. I think it was when he taught her the sparring lesson, is when I was just like, there's something more to you than the bad guy.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
was reading it, it was the sparring lesson, is when I'm like, oh, that's it. I'm totally done for you. Like,
Oh yeah. Like showing a dominance to him, but like I'm not gonna hurt you, but I could, but I'm gonna use this as a
yeah.
total learning lesson. I was like, oh,
Um,
okay, this man.
I'll take a learning lesson from him. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there's like
Um,
I said, there's just something frighteningly attractive about him.
bad boy
I don't know.
vibe. But
Yeah, I
well,
told
that
you I
was
didn't
fun.
like the bad boys. I
Yes, you
wasn't trying to like
do.
the
You're
bad
such a
boys.
liar. She's
In
a liar.
trouble in this.
She didn't know what she liked.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But I don't
You're
know.
married. You're married.
I know. I know.
Apparently,
But
the
after,
good guys are your type.
same with you. You're married too.
I know. But I like to
But yeah.
pretend he's part of the bad boy club.
Okay, so tell me, what was your favorite part of the four chapters we read? Like, what was your favorite part of all of it?
I liked when Andarna froze time. But then that's a hard one
Okay.
because I like that part, that whole scene right there. Because, man, if they made the, or well, they are making it into a TV show. So that would be cool to see. That and then Xaden not really caring, the very last like scene of that chapter, of him 100% believing her, him holding his ground, not even flinching or moving, like he was that point of taking Violet's word.
Yeah, he was locked in on believing her.
Mm-hmm. Like no matter what
Yeah.
she said.
Yeah. I think for
This,
me,
yeah.
my favorite part was I think Xaden taking on all those cadets, like coming out, taking them on. Like he barely had to lift a finger. Like his shadows did everything. You see the true strength of his power. You see, like I said, another side to him where, yes, I mean, technically, Violet, is connected to him, but I think there was a little more to him wanting to save her. And I think that was a good reason to, but I don't know. I thought
And
he
then he
showed a lot of
throws Sigel under the bus.
yeah. Yeah, I liked that whole chapter. I think it was chapter 19. I really enjoyed because I liked, like you said, I liked the time, the time stopping. I thought that was interesting because I didn't expect that. I thought Zayden was just going to come rushing in, but he he wasn't going to make it. So the fact that we see Andarna's power, or I guess her signet,
Oh no, because she
manifest,
doesn't, it'll disappear. So it's just, I think, a thing.
right.
Everyone's different
Which that so really quickly before we go any further. So talking about the feather tails, I know they say they don't know much about feather tails. Like there's not a lot of
because they're
like
hatchlings. The feather tails are the
right.
hatchlings.
Did she know that like is it known that feather tails are hatchlings, or did Violet just figure that out when she realized Andarna is too?
No, she just figured it out. No one knows anything
Okay.
about a hatchling because they're never seen. Same with feather tails. Like I'm sure once
Yeah.
you've probably only seen a feather tail and not like an egg or a brand new hatchling. And then when she figured it out, like she's still a baby, and then Taryn's like, our children grow up faster than yours. And then she's like, I'm only 2. She's like, what? Feather tails are hatchlings.
And feather tails don't bond because they can't control their signet essentially, right? Like can't
Yeah. So if
a
Violet
rider
takes too
steal their
much
whole
power,
thing?
yeah, and eventually kill them. So
Yeah.
that's the whole
So
thing.
the
Yeah, she has no listening skills whatsoever. Sigal said, "Don't bond anyone,"
and what does she
and
do?
here
She
we
bonds.
are.
It's just like a regular child. You just don't
Oh
listen to your
yeah,
parents. They tell you one thing, you do the opposite, right?
yeah. The rest of the Vic is gonna be fun for sure. So
Yeah. So But she does bond with Violet because she trusts her, which I thought was all, was really pretty cool. But I feel like in chapter 19, we got a lot more conversation between Violet and Xaden, because I feel like in the past, the only real talking we've gotten is maybe a little bit, except for the chapter when they're like sparring. But we see a little bit more of them actually trusting each other and having more of a real communication. And Violet trusting him enough to tell him that Amber Melvis was the one who, let them
Right?
all in to kill her that night. So yeah, those were good chapters. I was really excited. I was like, oh, and as I'm reading it and I'm like, I have to stop at 21. I
I
want to
know.
stop at
Well, just
21.
think it's going to get better. Like, it just keeps getting better and better from there. So, yeah, I'll have to go through and see which one you're allowed to read next. But
No,
let's
I feel
investigate,
like
shall we?
completely restricted reading this series. Because, like I said, normally I would just burst through this series and probably binge it all within a day. But because I can't, I'm like, all right, I'll stop here, I suppose. And luckily, I have some other books that I can read in between. But this book is starting to really, really get good. Like, we got through, I feel like, all the introductions of the beginning, getting to know the characters, getting to know the basic storylines, and now we're getting into the real good nitty gritty stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I'm excited. And I know you already know what's gonna happen, so you're probably excited, but you're like more excited to hear what I have to say.
How exciting.
I think though that these 4 chapters so far have been my favorite to read.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
through
because
the
it's like, it's exciting.
Yeah, and it kept my attention through the whole not that the other ones didn't, but like this one had, I feel like, action through the whole thing. Like I felt like I was genuinely watching like a full movie.
Yeah. So you're allowed, not like you're allowed to, but our next podcast, it's a lot of pages, so it's not going to be as long, but chapter 21, and we'll stop at 25.
Okay. So read 21, 22, 23, and 24.
Yeah, 21,
Okay.
22, 23, 24. So 4 chapters again.
I'm
And
excited.
then, yeah, no, me too.
Well, is there anything else you wanted to
It's
talk
weird.
about before we get on with the next couple chapters?
No, but we love you guys.
We do. And if you're reading along with us, make sure to read 21, 22, 23, and 24. And if you are not already, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to find us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. And yeah, make sure to follow us, comment, like. Yeah, do everything you can to support us because we really, really appreciate it. And it
Alrighty.
helps the podcast grow. So,
It does.
all right. Well, we will look forward to seeing you guys on the next few chapters.
Bye.
Bye.